Thrifty Car Rental, racing across America. Welcome to the most famous day of thoroughbred racing in the world. It's the first Saturday in May. We're at Churchill Downs on the day they run the Kentucky Derby. No sun shining on my old Kentucky home this afternoon on this first Saturday of May, 1994. The umbrellas are up. The rain is coming down heavily at times here at Churchill Downs. Here you see the weather conditions, and we do have a sloppy racetrack for you today. But despite the weather, there's no place anybody would want to be in thoroughbred racing than right here at Churchill Downs. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to our Derby special. For the next 2 hours, Tom Durkin will be joining us to call the races. Bob Newmeyer down in the paddock under his umbrella with his interviews at Insight. And Leslie Visser, well, she's the smartest of the group. She will be, thank you, on Millionaires Row. The Kentucky Derby, the 8th race on the card this afternoon. The post time at 5:30. Let's take a look now at our ESPN race card for you today. Live coverage of the Brown and Williamson, the Churchill Downs Handicap, and the race before the Derby, the Capital Holding Mile. Now, the first Saturday in May means the Kentucky Derby for the thoroughbred fans, but for steeplechase races, well, they think of the Virginia Gold Cup. The most historic timber race in the sport. We'll have it live for you from Virginia later this afternoon, presented by BMW. Now let's take a look at a couple of our Derby stars. They've been the stars all spring. They remain the top two choices for this Derby. There is Holy Bull, the great gray speedster owned and trained by Jimmy Kroll, who just entered Racing's Hall of Fame. They're winning the Grade 1 Florida Derby. He's won 7 of 8. And now on the outside, here comes Brocco, owned by Albert Broccoli, producer of the James Bond movies. He now has a star on his hand in Brocco, who won the Santa Anita Grade 1 Derby there. So 15, ready to run, ready to make history today. We're glad you've joined us despite the weather. We're here for the 120th Kentucky Derby. This Thrifty Car Rental Racing Across America presentation of the 1994 Kentucky Derby Special is brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates, by Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet, Budweiser Beechwood Age for a crisp, clear, classic taste, by the Breeders' Cup, racing's year-round national stakes program, and by Sprint. We've got everything you need, local, long distance, and cellular, to let you be there now.
Share the feeling.
ESPN welcomes you back to Churchill Downs under the umbrellas. Ladies are still going to have their Derby hats on, thank you, and their Derby dresses. You see all the umbrellas up here and a sign of spring. And let's give you now the current odds as well as the morning line for this 120th Kentucky Derby. The odds presented by Auto Tote. There you see some slight movement there. Holy Bull 8-5, but now up to 3-1. Interesting there. Strode's Creek 8 open and now down to 6-1. Some others. Tabasco Cat has gone from 6 down to 4-1. Brocco from 3 up to 5-1. That shows you they're spreading the money out here some at this Kentucky Derby. Well, at Millionaires Row, Leslie Visser is there to meet some of the famous and infamous. Let's go to her now.
I am, Chris. I'm with a man who knows a little bit about speed and quickness on a wet track. Jimmy Johnson, welcome to the Derby. What do you think so far of your first Derby?
Well, I like the event. I like the atmosphere. It's a little bit wet. I think if I was outside, this rose might start growing, but I like it. It's my first time here.
Turning to your old job, you know, what do you think? The Cowboys lost, what, 7 unrestricted free agents? How tough is it going to be for them this year?
Well, I think they're still going to be the most talented team in the league. I think with the staff that they have and the people that they have, everything's there. They should still be the favorite to win it all.
What kind of a challenge is it for Barry Switzer going from running the wishbone out of football for 5 years to the NFL?
Well, you know, Barry really shouldn't have a whole lot of input into the offense. Ernie Zampese will run the offense, and the coaches are in place. I'm sure that they'll take care of business.
Turning to your new job, you are an analyst now. Do you have a pick for the Derby?
No, I like Brocco, but I don't know what that means. This is my first time here.
Really went out on a line. Thanks a lot, Jimmy. Best of luck. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Leslie, and good luck, Coach Johnson. Hope you find some real work here. There's the winner's circle for the Kentucky Derby winner. Only the Kentucky Derby winner goes in there. Let's give you the conditions now of our first live race for you here on Derby Day. It's the Brown and Williamson Grade 3, $100,000 in the purse. The ladies, fillies, and mares 4 and up, going 7 furlongs here. Well, to meet our first field, we're going to head down to the paddock now and meet our colleague down there, Bob Newmeyer.
We're Chris Lincoln. It is pouring rain, so the track is sloppy, and as we run down the field, you'll see they've made a favorite in this race. Number 1, Santa Catalina, who has an excellent record on an off-track, 5 tries and 4 wins. That's one of the reasons she's the favorite. And the other reason, of course, Pat Day, who's always well backed here at Churchill Downs. Number 2 is the horse I think should be the favorite based on current form, Roman Rachel, out of the Shug McGahee barn with Mike Smith. Number 3 from the West Coast, Arches of Gold, Gary Stevens in for the ride at 5-1. The veteran campaigner Gino with Shane Sellers. She breaks from the 4 at 6-1. Glory's Ghost, Garrett Gomez getting support at 9-2. Merrill Smith's been off. She's back today at 18-1. She's the 6. And Tenacious Tiffany, who was a big upset winner at Keeneland, rounds out the field. Well, Santa Catalina was in this race 1 year ago today. She was 5-2, as I recall, with Jose Santos, and that's her on the rail with a red cap unleashing a furious drive. Of course, on that day, it was a fast track, but this big-time rally by Santa Catalina was upstaged by Court Recess on the extreme outside with a green cap, who just nips her at the wire by a head. Of course, she's well back today. I'd like to talk to a couple of other horses in this field. One of them is number 3, Arches of Gold, who's in from the West Coast again for Bob Baffert. Bob told me, although she's bred for the off-track, she's never really run well on it. On a good day, she's as fast as anybody in the field, but Baffert said every race is an adventure. He has no idea what to expect from Arches of Gold. And of course, the other horse that I mentioned is Roman Rachel. This is a horse that's never been off the board in 10 career starts, yet she's up there at 3-1 today, and I think is in the best form of any of the fillies today. 7 of them traveling 7 furlongs on a wet and sloppy racetrack. Looking through the binoculars with windshield wipers today, our race caller, Tom Durkin.
Yes, it's a delight to be up on top of a roof this afternoon. Gino is moving into line. Santa Catalina is the favorite, and if you're a sentimentalist or a mom, hey, why not bet on her? She's pregnant in full to Deputy Minister, and the favorite here. And the other horses moving into line. Good long run here in a 7-furlong race at Churchill Downs. They've got 3 furlongs before they hit that far turn. And they're all in the gate now, ready for the start. The final horse, Tenacious Tiffany, moves in, and they are off. And down toward the inside, Arches of Gold is flashing her early speed. Glory's Ghost is right there with her. Tenacious Tiffany broke well. She's with the pace on the far outside. And just to her inside, it's Myrtle Smith, followed by Santa Catalina, who settles in now 5th, about 5 lengths from the lead. And it's Roman Rachel, and another 5-length gap back to stretch running Gino as they continue their run up the backstretch. Arches of Gold bounding along over the slop, and a quick first quarter here in 22 3/5 seconds, and she leads by 3 lengths. Then farther back, now trying to move through toward the inside at Santa Catalina. Glory's Ghost is right there. Glory's Ghost is now running in 2nd position. And in between horses, it's Myrtle Smith, who's now beginning to tail off of it. Tenacious Tiffany moves into 3rd. Myrtle Smith is there. Roman Rachel mounting a rally on the outside, and there she goes as they round the far turn. Santa Catalina toward the inside. It's a sloppy track, but it's a glib one. They ran a half-mile here in 45 3/5 seconds. Arches of Gold with the lead, but a 2-pronged challenge. Glory's Ghost is right there toward the inside. Tenacious Tiffany and Roman Rachel continues to roll on the far outside. Santa Catalina doesn't look like she's going to do it today. They're coming to the final furlong. Arches of Gold is trying to do it on the lead here, and she's still leading by a length, but Roman Rachel is full of run on the outside under a furious left hand here by Mike Smith. Roman Rachel charging on the outside, collaring Arches of Gold, and here's the line, and Roman Rachel prevails by a long neck. Arches of Gold was 2nd. It was 4 lengths back, and it looked like Glory's Ghost held on for 3rd. They got a little weak leg in the late going here. The final time was 1 minute 23 4/5 seconds. Chris?
Tom, a good run on the outside by Roman Rachel under Mike Smith, who, of course, in just a little less than 3 hours will be on the favorite for this 120th Kentucky Derby, Holy Bull. But Roman Rachel, very impressive performance here. Jerry Bailey had been the rider before that, and she came here after a 2nd-place finish at Keeneland in a Grade 3 stake there. Now let's take a look on the outside. Leading the way is Arches of Gold and Bobby Baffert in the red jockey cap, as you see there. Then on the outside, here comes Roman Rachel. Mike Smith working hard to the right-handed whip. There you see him going to her several times there, trying to make a big move here. Now coming outside, switches to the left-handed whip. furious work there by Arches of Gold rider Gary Stevens, trying to hold her off, but just can't do it. Roman Rachel to the wire and getting it there. And not only Mike Smith with a big chance with, of course, Holy Bull, but you also saw Gary Stevens, who rides Brocco. The top two choices in the Kentucky Derby. They battled it out down to the wire in the Brown and Williamson. Mike Smith wins this one on the outside. Downs, we welcome you back to ESPN, Thrifty Car Rental Racing Across America's Kentucky Derby special here. Well, let's make our first live race. Still waiting for the official results on that. The Brown and Williamson, unofficially Roman Rachel, the winner, owned by Tri-Honor Stable. That's Ferris, Latana, and Mansell. It's Chuck McGahee trains, and Mike Smith rides, and just out-dueling Gary Stevens on Arches of Gold, and Glorious goes third, 123-4. Bob Worth, another look. Good stretch drive.
Versatility is such an asset for a thoroughbred, and versatility is Roman Rachel's middle name. This filly can win from off the pace as she does today on the extreme outside under Mike Smith, wearing down a gutsy effort by Arches of Gold on the front end with Gary Stevens. But as I mentioned during the post-parade, she's never been off the board. She wins on the lead. She wins off the pace. She had never won or even competed on an off-track, but she's by mining out of a clever trick mare. You had to figure that was no problem in today's wet conditions, and really for a filly that's gone off at no higher than 9-5 in any of her last 9 starts, 3-1, a nice mutual on this winner here this afternoon. Chris?
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, let me get this straight. Bob Newmeyer's under an umbrella and a driving rainstorm in the paddock. Tom Durkin's up on the roof. I'm here by the garbage dumpsters, and they moved us down here, and Leslie Visser is in Millionaires Row. Leslie?
Well, they call it Millionaires Row, but I think it's an NFL coaches convention. I'm here with Marty Schottenheimer. Marty, it's your first Derby. It's not always like this.
Well, it's still delightful to see these great athletes compete like this, and certainly in inclement weather, it's an interesting perspective.
You just had minicamp. You said,
and very gracious of jockey Mike Smith to join us, soaked from head to toe after the winning ride. First of all, everybody back home wants to know about this racetrack, how it's playing, and how it might impact the Kentucky Derby.
Well, it's done a little of both. I think it's playing really true to form right now. I've seen horses go to the lead and win today, and as you can see just now, I come from second to last and just win this race. It's playing true to form. I think the best horses are winning today.
$64,000 question is Holy Bull and how he'll stand up on this wet track.
Oh, the bull, he's such an athlete. He really doesn't really bother him. He'll run out over anything, and I don't think the mud will bother him a bit.
I think we have some pictures of Holy Bull actually running in the mud last year by Great Above, and certainly rolling through the futurity.
There you are. That's right. That's what the people come to see.
You confident today?
I'm very confident in my horse, but on any given day, these are very talented horses, and they can all beat each other. I just hope that everything goes right and everybody runs their race a day, and if they all do, the bull will be tough.
You know what they're saying? No dosage, no ability to go 1.25 miles, 1.1 miles is his tops. What's your rejoinder to that argument?
I think he speaks for himself, and anybody who tries to knock him is just foolish. I mean, just look at his record. It's, like I said, it speaks for itself, and I just hope this colt runs his race, and he'll prove it to the world.
You going to go to the lead?
Well, that's just... got to wait and see. I mean, that's something, I'm not one of them kind of, I don't make up my mind before the race. I play it like it comes up, and if everything goes right and he breaks like he can and he runs like he can, more likely he will be there. But if somebody goes absolutely crazy, well, I'm content to say second.
All right, Mike, good luck.
Till the wire.
Okay, Mike Smith, victorious here in the Brown and Williamson, and looking forward to his mount aboard Holy Bull a little bit later this afternoon. Chris?
Well, good start for Michael. It's official now. The Brown and Williamson. And Mike Smith's mount, Roman Rachel, wins it over Arches of Gold. Glory's Ghost runs third. The 2-3 exacta, $44.80. Let's take a look at the full order now as you pick it up with Gino, Tenacious Tiffany, Merrill Smith, and Santa Catalina. There is a disappointment. Second last year in this race to last in this one. The rain continues to fall here at Churchill Downs as you take a look at the stretch drive again of the Brown and Williamson. On the inside, Arches of Gold, Gary Stevens. Outside, Mike Smith, Roman Rachel, the winner. ESPN's Kentucky Derby Special is being presented by Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet. Take a look now at the famed infield at Churchill Downs. The crowd still expected to be more than 100,000 today, and the people in the infield don't know, don't care if it's raining, most of them, in fact. You know, about this Kentucky Derby, you've got to be a pretty good player just to be in the race. Of course, you need a great thoroughbred. They need 10,000 to enter, 10,000 to start. But here's how it breaks down. Right now, a total purse of more than $888,000 with 15 starters. First place, $638,800. But that's not what it's about. It's about history. Well, Tom Durkin, the voice of the Breeders' Cup, you know, and voice of New York Racing, has joined us now down from the roof. A little hazardous up there, Tom. I don't care what the weather is, though. It's great to be here today.
That's right. And a little bit of the business here, Chris. You know what tomorrow is, don't you?
That's right. That's right.
Hi, Mom.
Owl's Head, Maine for Gail
Yes,
Lincoln.
in Fontana, Wisconsin for Betty Durkin. And yes, tomorrow...
cheaper than flowers.
Yes, yes. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, we're reminded. But today at Churchill Down is Mudder's Day. There's no doubt about it that the off-track is going to compromise in some way or another the result of the Kentucky Derby. Tomorrow you're going to read about the one horse that won the Kentucky Derby and 14 horses that didn't really like the track.
Pressure's off. Excuses are already built in, Tom. But, you know, the spotlight's certainly on the 3-year-old thoroughbreds today, yet still there are so many stories around this historic event.
Well, the Derby lore is as much about people as it is about horses. There are all kinds of stories. Cinderella stories, heart-tugging stories, rags to riches stories, riches to rags stories. And this year, there's a people story for every horse in this most storied race.
Topping the list is Holy Bull, the horse that was bequeathed to trainer Jimmy Kroll in the will of his longtime owner and patron, Rachel Carpenter. The favorite in this year's Derby could leave a great legacy himself. And then there's Panamanian star Ulysses. Remember Albacan? Maybe not. He was a champ in Panama and ran in last year's Derby. Well, he actually only ran until they got to the top of the stretch. Now, you'll surely remember Strike the Gold and the acrimony among owners Brophy, Condren, and Carnaccia. Brophy's gone, but Condren and Carnaccia will go for gin. Stretch-running Bloomin' Affair reminds a lot of folks of 87 winner Ali Shiva, who was also trained by Hall of Famer Jack Van Berg. Barry Gordy founded Motown Records and hopes that his horse Powis Castle will reign supreme in the Derby. And if he's first under the wire, they'll be dancing under the spires. Meadow Flight's owner, Leonard Pivnik, unlike most of the Derby owners, hasn't been in the business for decades. He could win the Derby with only the second horse he's ever purchased. Songwriter Burt Bacharach knows what it's like to be on top of the charts with songs like Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head and on top of other charts with horses like Soul of the Matter. Valiant Nature is trained by Ron McAnally, who grew up in an orphanage, but he has a home now in the Hall of Fame. However, he's yet to win the big one here in his old Kentucky home. This is Albert Broccoli, and yes, one of his progenitors did invent the vegetable. This Broccoli is a producer, not of produce, but of the James Bond films, and he hopes that his namesake, Rocco, can produce a Derby victory. Just 4 years ago, jockey Willie Martinez was toiling in his native Puerto Rico. He's now enjoying success here in Kentucky and dreams of a jockey's greatest success with his first Derby mount, Mahogany Hall. Among the stretch runners is a relative newcomer, Southern Rhythm. He's got more owners than victories. Question is, will they all fit in the owner's box? Smilin' Singin' Sam and his syndicate of owners, including Cot Campbell, will have a lot to smile about. And Irish Eyes would be smiling for his young Irish trainer, Niall O'Callaghan. 81-year-old Charlie Whittingham never ran much in the Derby. Then in 1986, he ran Ferdinand. Came back for more with Sunday Silence. Now he's as much a part of Kentucky as Strode's Creek. And in an irony that only the Kentucky Derby could produce, Jeff Lucas will be cheering for Tabasco Cap, a horse trained by his father, a horse that almost took Jeff's life in a freak accident. And then there's Candale with a new tune from the folks that sang the praises of Risen Star.
Fine, looks fine, runs fast, looks fine, Derby bells are gonna chime. Whoa, 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 yeah. Go Candale, go.
This is why I love horse racing. People like only Ronnie Lamarck. It's just chock full of people like Ronnie and yourself, Chris.
Thank you.
You're all stark raving mad.
I'm okay, Tom. I'm okay. By the way,
Sure
the blimp picture's provided by the Fuji blimp. Our captains up there are out of their minds to be up there. It's really blowing out here and raining. Well, we have a gentleman who is smarter than Tom and me. He did his interview earlier. when it was sunny and outside at the paddock here at Churchill Downs yesterday, in fact, with the official welcome to the Kentucky Derby. Let's join the president and the CEO of Churchill Downs, Mr. Tom Meeker.
Welcome to all the ESPN viewers to America's greatest day of racing here in Louisville, Kentucky. As we begin to run the 120th running of the Kentucky Derby, all of the member tracks in the TRA want to welcome you to racing. Racing is something special, and each of you have the opportunity to see racing on a daily basis in your community throughout the United States. And again, on behalf of the Board of Directors and the management of Churchill Downs, welcome to racing's greatest day.
There you see the racetrack at Churchill Downs, officially listed as sloppy. Water standing on it, rain still falling, umbrellas are up. But oh, look at this. One of Tom Durkin's relatives has made it to the races. He's having a great time anyway. Covered in plastic. What a surprise. Some of the young fans in the infield, some with umbrellas, some without. Some know a training, some don't. Some really don't care, I think. Just part of having a great time here at Churchill Downs, and they await the horses to come over for our next feature, the 6th race, which will be the Churchill Downs. Well, everyone looking for a handicapping edge for America's most famous race here. What do you like? Speed figures, trip notes? Try to find some inside information. Well, there's something new to handicap with for this year's Run for the Roses. That is the age factor. History and the Kentucky Derby, they go together. And the sands of time have helped reveal 4 of the last 5 Derby winners. Let's turn back the clock. First to 1989, when Charlie Whittingham became the oldest trainer ever to saddle a Derby winner at age 76 with Sunday Silence, a colt he was also the part owner of. The next year, Mrs. Frances Genter set a new standard, winning the Roses at age 92 with her first Derby starter unbridled. That after half a century in thoroughbred racing. 82-year-old Arkansas lumberman W. Cal Partee won the 1992 Kentucky Derby with Lil E.T. Partee had started 4 horses in 3 different decades before getting to the winner's circle at Churchill Downs. And of course, last year, the grand gentleman of this sport, Mr. Paul Mellon, saw a lifetime dream come true at age 85 when his homebred Sea Hero won the Derby trophy to go with his Epsom Derby and Arc de Triomphe prizes. It took 60 years of breeding and racing, but Paul Mellon always knew what it would take to win America's most famous race.
You know, you need really a very special horse, and you need a very special trainer, and you need a very special regimen to get a horse ready for the Derby. Naturally, all my life, I've thought of it and thought, well, it'd be nice to win the Derby.
But when you come to the Kentucky Derby, there's no other feeling. You can put all of them together, and none of them like the Kentucky Derby. I can't explain how or what, but it's everybody ought to try it. I'll tell you.
Those who will be trying to make their experience work for them this year at the Kentucky Derby include W.T. Young and breeder David Reynolds with Tabasco Cat. They have a combined age of 155 years. Individually, the elder statesman of this Derby is 85-year-old Albert Broccoli, the producer of the James Bond movies, with his first starter in the classic West Coast Star Brocco. Charlie Whittingham, now 81, teams again with Arthur Hancock and their entry, Strode's Creek. Vern Winchell sends his colors out in the Derby for the second time at age 77 on Valiant Nature. And 74-year-old Jimmy Kroll is here as the owner and trainer of this year's Kentucky Derby favorite, Holy Bull. For some, the wait is much shorter, like Fred W. Hooper, the famed horseman, who with the first racehorse he ever owned, Hoop Jr., won the Kentucky Derby in 1945. Now, almost half a century later, Mr. Hooper at age 96, still trying to find that lightning in a bottle, trying to win the Kentucky Derby one more time. During the spring, we, of course, kept you up to date on how the future book odds were moving at Caesars in Las Vegas and at Tahoe to see how they were playing around the country. Well, now with the future book closed, we wanted to check in with Lou D'Amico to find out just how they track those future book odds for us.
It's a combination of both. Certainly the money does move the line. When a horse goes from, say, 10 to 1, if he's 10 to 1, we take X amount of dollars. We might move him down to 8 to 1. Then, of course, is the perception of what I would see during the course of a big stake race or whenever that horse might be running, and I will either move the horse down or move him up. So it's a little bit of both, money movement and my perception of what I see. When I first opened up the future book, Holy Bull was 15-1. Then he had some success during the course of the year and not so much success with his disappointing performance in the Fountain of Youth. So at that time, I think he was raised back to 15-1 after the Fountain of Youth. So there certainly was some value there. As of right now, he is 9-5 in our future book, and so he's been bet down as the favorite in the future book. So there was value throughout the whole year.
The fans, again, they don't seem to mind the rain. Meanwhile, the work continues here at Churchill Downs by the track maintenance crew here, trying to give the best, fastest, and safest surface for America's most important race. We're up here with the Duckies. Live from Churchill Downs, as you take a look at the racetrack here, it is listed as sloppy. That means water standing on the racetrack. Let's take a look now at the current odds for this 120th Kentucky Derby, again presented by Auto Tote. There you see the opening, the morning line odds, and the current odds. Plus, we have an update for you that I think you'll find of interest. Holy Bull, you see, open at 8-5. Now at 3-1. Some question about how I'll handle the surface. Stones Creek has dropped to 6. Look at Go for Gin, 15-1. Now he is at 9-1. Tabasco Cat also getting more support. He's dropped from 6 to 4. Rocco is up from 3-1 as the second choice. Now he is at 5-1. And there's the story. On the outside, Candali has been scratched. Candali scratched from this field. 14, one gate will run here for the Derby. Now back to Millionaire's Row. Again, Leslie Visser.
Chris, well, first I want to tell you that Ronnie Lamarck told me this morning that he thought the only chance they had for Candali is that the other gate didn't open, so clearly they weren't confident in this weather. Well, I'm joined now by the man who said he always wanted to come to the Kentucky Derby, Derek Thomas. Derek, what was the reason you always wanted to be here?
Well, I mean, there are a few things they say you have to do in your lifetime, and the Kentucky Derby is one of them. And I've been wanting to come for several years, but my coach always had us in minicamp this weekend, so he got an invitation this year, so he made minicamp 1 week earlier, so we're both here.
The Candali has been scratched. A shame for Roz Cole, for Louis Russell, and Ronnie Lamarck, who have been so colorful here. What a shame. That song, Candali, go, go, go. Well, it's no, no, no today in the rain. He is out of the Kentucky Derby. One gate, 14. Hasn't happened since 1985 when Spendebuck went wire to wire. Well, that's the story of the Kentucky Derby we're focusing on today. Yesterday, what a great day of racing we had for you on ESPN, featuring the Kentucky Oaks. Bob Newmeyer is going to take us back 24 hours.
We actually had two outstanding events yesterday here at Churchill Downs. The Early Times Classic, which was supposed to be simply a showcase for the brilliant miler on the grass named Lure. Back-to-back championships in the Breeders' Cup. He was sent off at 1-5 in the Early Times Classic. But the grass was a bit soggy, the distance 1 1/8, and Lure would be upset. The call, Tom Durkin.
It's Paradise Creek, and he's revving up now, and Pat Day sends him on the outside, and they're rounding the far turn. The name's Jimmy is trying to go wire to wire here. Yukon Robbie. Lure has had nowhere to run yet, and he's down toward the inside. There's a narrow opening for Lure. Paradise Creek is coming on the outside, and Mike Smith sends Lure to the lead from the hedge. It's Lure in front now by a neck, but Paradise Creek trying to pull an upset up, and he's got the lead with a furlong to run, and Paradise Creek is blowing by Lure, and Lure will not repeat today. It is going to be Paradise Creek, and he's going to be a runaway winner. He wins by 5 expanding lengths.
A case of persistence paying off for Paradise Creek. 4 times he'd tackled Lure, 4 times Lure had beaten him until yesterday. So 3-1 on Paradise Creek, 860. Lure finishing second, Yukon Robbery finishing third. That was the first half of our great late daily double. Then we had the Kentucky Oaks. Now this was billed as a showcase between 2 outstanding 3-year-old fillies, Sardula and Lakeway. We thought it was a match race. Most of the handicappers agreed. And what a show these 2 fillies put on. Again, to Tom Durkin.
In the lane, and Slideshow is still 1-2. 7 lengths back to Sardula. Lakeway's right alongside her. And another 3. Fair Chris is dropping out of it. Diane Sala beginning to launch her bid now. She's 10 lengths from the lead. Slow Kitty Slow is the trailer. They're rounding the far turn. They've run 3/4 and won 11 and 4. Lakeway with a powerful run to the lead on the outside. And here comes Lakeway sweeping past the weakening front runners. Sardula's coming through on the inside. And the confrontation at the top of the stretch. And Diane's Halo is moving into contention. Coming down toward the final furlong. Sardula, Lakeway, head-to-head as they charge headlong into the last furlong. Diane's Halo is third. Sardula digging down deep. Lakeway is tenacious on the outside. Sardula, Lakeway in a battle of will to the wire. Here's the finish. It looks like Sardula gets it by a desperate head.
A scintillating eyeball-to-eyeball duel between Sardula and Lakeway, and it was Sardula with Eddie Delahousse coming off the pace, which surprised a lot of folks here at Churchill Downs. But a memorable Kentucky Oaks run here before 80,000 fans at Churchill Downs here 24 hours ago. We hope the Derby is as exciting as the Oaks was yesterday. Chris?
11 minutes to post to our next live race here for you, the 6th race on the Derby Day card, the Churchill Downs Handicap, a Grade 3 event. You see the horses are in the paddock, the Fuji blimp is up. Come on back with us.
The Derby. At 4, he was the champion of the American Championship Racing Series. As a racehorse, he earned almost $3.5 million, placing in 13 Grade 1 stakes at 3, 4, and 5. As a stallion, he offers an exceptional value as one of the last sons of the champion sire Aladar to go to stud. Strike the Gold at Vinery, Midway, Kentucky.
Spires way up above, and the Fuji airship, the Fujifilm blimp, jockeying in a position so that its inboard camera can capture all the excitement going on here below at the home of the world-famous Kentucky Derby, and our thanks to the courageous crew of the Fuji blimp here. We have a story of a very talented racehorse named X-Born, a multiple graded stakes winner. He's earned more than $900,000 on the track. But his story as a patient, as a survivor, is even more remarkable. X-Born is 8 years old and standing his first season at stud at Judmont Farms in Lexington, Kentucky. And the term standing is key here, as X-Born is currently recovering from a severe bout with laminitis, contracted 2 years ago during recovery from extensive fusion surgery on his other ankle.
Given the state of his feet at any particular stage, a number of experts had looked at him and said, you know, there's no point in continuing with this horse because he'd lost his coronary band, which is the part of his foot which grows the new hoof, and they said these horses just never grow feet again. But it would appear the situation was that there'd never been a horse live long enough to see if he could grow a new foot, and this horse did, and he's grown a new foot, and as you have seen from the, he gets around very adequately and does everything else just exactly as you'd expect a normal horse to do.
Seen here 5 months ago, the fused joints now require little attention, leaving attending veterinarian Bob Hunt to deal with the ongoing laminitis.
He's able to grow a very good hoof wall in certain components of the foot, and we're able to utilize the portion that is functional in order to keep him going on it. He has trouble with the toe area. He probably never will reattach the hoof wall to the coffin bone around the front, but his heels are good, and it's good through the frog area, and we're able to keep enough support through that region to keep him comfortable.
Even before all the foot trouble began, X-Born overcame life-threatening colic, which struck him at the height of his racing career.
Well, yeah, right before we were going to go to the Arlington Million, which I thought at this time I was a cinch to win it because he had just won the Atlantic City race and he was training great. And in the middle of the night, I got a call that they're going to have to take him to the San Luis Rey Clinic and operate on him. And he's been through a lot, but he's still around.
X-Born's successful return to racing after colic surgery was a clue to his survival abilities. After contracting laminitis, he spent a year in the Frankel barn, almost always lying down. X-Born has truly defied the odds and impressed all those around him.
He benefited from the advanced veterinary care and also his own spirit. And, you know, it's just a rarity to get a horse like that.
Well, it's been a great effort on behalf of Bobby Frankel and his assistant trainer, Umberto. who absolutely fell in love with this horse. In fact, when he left California, there was a group of about 150 people all standing around watching him get on the van, and there were tears all around because everybody had really fallen in love with this horse. And this horse, to me, epitomizes all that is great in courage and the will to succeed.
This educational feature is brought to you by the American Association of Equine Practitioners through a grant from Merck & Company, manufacturers of Ecvolan, a broad-spectrum dewormer available from your veterinarian.
Just take a note of that. Also, the American Association of Equine Practitioners have provided their vet on-call service for us at ESPN and for all the other networks throughout our telecast season, keeping us up to date on the condition of our magnificent thoroughbreds. Dr. Rick Arthur is on call for us today to answer any questions we might have. While the rain continues to fall here, the racetrack is sloppy, and now let's go down to the paddock. Bob Newmeyer getting ready for our next race.
With me, the respected Dick Mandela, conditioner from the West Coast, who saddled Soul the Matter later on in the Kentucky Derby, and your horse ran so big on an off-track out at Santa Anita in the San Felipe. Do I surmise you one of the trainers who was out doing a rain dance earlier this week?
This ain't breaking my heart. I'm very glad to see it rain. He did run good in the San Felipe. It's a different kind of mud here, but mud's mud, too. We're happy to have it.
Let's talk a little bit about the San Felipe, because two of the contenders who you defeated that day are in today, obviously Brocco and Valiant Nature. It was an upset that day, Soul of the Matter. Did you think you had that kind of horse going into the race?
Yeah, it didn't upset me. He made a good move. It was a tiring track, and in fairness to the two we beat, it was their first race in a long time, and we took back off them and made one run, and he went by them pretty easy. So we're just hoping to duplicate that today.
And Soul of the Matter, when I last checked, a juicy 20-1 on the odds board. And we also have Memo that you're saddling in the upcoming Churchill Downs Handicap. This is a legitimate favorite, in my opinion. I know he floundered a bit in the swap at Hollywood late in the year last year. Is this potentially a problem today for Memo?
I don't believe so. I think he'll like this track. That day, it was threatening rain, and they sealed the track, and it really didn't rain much. So it wasn't really a good racetrack.
All right, Dick Mandela is going to send out Memo in the upcoming Churchill Downs Handicap, and Soul of the Matter in the Kentucky Derby a little later on. Chris?
We're 3 minutes to post time for the sixth race, the Churchill Downs Handicap. Again, Dick Mandela's Memo has now gone to odds on as the favorite here as they gallop on the backside. We'll be right back. Skies brightening a bit here at Churchill Downs, hoping maybe the rain will go away before the running of the Kentucky Derby at 5:30 Eastern Time. We look ahead on Sunday to Sunday Night Baseball on the set for the 7 furlong Churchill Downs Handicap. Let's give you a look at the conditions of racing this afternoon. It is a Grade 3, $100,000 in the purse. The handicappers at 4-year-old and up. Again, that's 7/8 of a mile they go on a sloppy racetrack. And Bob Newmeyer is going to give us a closer look at the field here for this $100,000 stake.
Well, if the Brown and Williamson showcased the good sprinting fillies, now we have the boys going 7 furlongs, 6 of them in an outstanding favorite showcased in this event. Let's take a quick look at the field if we can. The favorite is number 2, Memo. Again, we talked to Dick Mandela with Paul Atkinson. He's up there at even money. He just ran a smashing race at Keeneland, and that's the reason why he is even money. Number 5, Honor the Hero, has an outside shot with Garrett Gomez, as does the lightly raced but talented Jack Livingston with Mike Smith. 6 of them going 7 furlongs as we see Memo loading in the gate for his usual jock, Paul Atkinson. 121 pounds, the high weight at even money. 7 furlongs the distance. For the call of the Churchill Downs Handicap, let's go upstairs again to Tom Durkin.
There's Antrim Mode, who moved into post position number 4. He wasn't a sprinter last year, won the Illinois Derby, then he ran in the 1.5 mile Belmont, a horse in search of a distance, and he's been doing a bit better, as a matter of fact, now that he's running out abbreviated distances. Honor the Hero may well see the early lead here. He's very quick-footed. They're in the gate, and they are off, and indeed quick-footed. Honor the Hero bounces right out on the lead. Memo broke sharply, too. Saratoga Gambler's in between horses. He's coming up and after Honor the Hero, leaving that Churchill Downs chute and on to the main track now, and Saratoga Gambler's got the lead. Honor the Hero is second, and Antrim Road has been taken to the outside for a clear aim third as Memo settles in 4th. He's about 3.5 lengths from the lead. a break of 5. Mike Smith has already gone to the whip on Jack Livingston. He'd like to be a lot closer, apparently. He's now 10 lengths from the front, and well behind the rest is stretch running Bubba Menkes. The opening quarter went in 23 1/5 seconds. They're at the half-mile pole now. Saratoga Gambler's got a short lead. Honor the Hero. Garrett Gomez doesn't look in any particular hurry to get by. He's still sitting second on the outside. Antrim Road is poised, a threatening third. Memo is only 3 lengths from the lead. Jack Livingston is beginning to gain some ground now. Then there's a break of 5 to Bubba Menkes, and they're coming to the top of the stretch. On the outside, Honor the Hero has now taken the lead. Room at the rail for Memo, and he's charging on through. Saratoga Gambler continues to battle away bravely in between them. They're coming down toward the final furlong. Memo toward the inside. Honor the Hero on the outside, and those two are going to slug it out for the final furlong. And it's Honor the Hero under a hustling Garrett Gomez. He's got the lead. Memo is second and being left behind. Honor the Hero wins, and jockey Garrett Gomez, who has a date in the Derby with Southern Rhythm, is aboard the winner. Memo finishing second, Saratoga Gambler third, and the time was 1:23 flat, a few ticks faster than the ladies.
Young Garrett Gomez impressed us in the Arkansas Derby, winning with a long shot there. Then he came down to get on Southern Rhythm to win to Lexington. That will be his Kentucky Derby mount. And a fine ride by the young rider today on Honor the Hero. And Bob Newmeyer will take a closer look at this drive here for Honor the Hero.
Well, just like Roman Rachel in the Brown and Williamson, Honor the Hero is a remarkably consistent and versatile horse, can take the lead or come off the pace. He's in the middle of the track now in the blue cap. He's going to be engaged by Memo on the inside with the blue cap and gold and red with Paul Atkinson. And as you see, Honor the Hero had plenty left and actually pulled away from Memo late in the drive to score here at 7-2 as the second choice. Memo, the even money favorite, finishing well clear to be second. Good young rider, Garrett Gomez, winning friends and influencing people in this game. He's a guy on the move and a guy to keep your eyes on as he continues to develop as one of our fine young riders, Garrett Gomez. We'll be back at Churchill Downs. Stay tuned.
As you look at Honor the Hero gallop back, Bob, you remember him at Oaklawn. What a gallant effort of the Count Fleet. He just lost by a nose. Not today. Honor the Hero wins here at Churchill Downs. 94 Kentucky Derby Special is being brought to you by Merck & Company, makers of Ekvaland, by the Thoroughbred Racing Associations, assuring the highest racing standards, by Keeneland, source of the classic horse, and by Autotote, where the action is. These great aerial shots you've been seeing at Churchill Downs, you really can't tell it's raining from high above in the Fujifilm blimp, and we thank them for being part of Kentucky Derby Day. And how about that for a Derby Day hat, huh? That's right, even the men wear hats. Strange, but some of them do. Tom Durkin now has another look at a race just completed, waiting to make it official at Churchill Downs.
We're picking up the action as they approach the top of the stretch now and Honor the Hero. Let's give another tip of the hat to Garrett Gomez. He could have taken the lead at any point in the race, really. He was very, very patient on the far turn. And now this is when he's asking Honor the Hero, when it really counts, shaking the lines at him. He's not going to really go to the whip. And to his inside is the favorite, and he'll have the measure of him, Memo. Coming down toward the finish, you'll see Honor the Hero and Garrett Gomez. This is a very heady young rider, hustling away. He doesn't use the whip indiscriminately whatsoever. And again, very patient on the far turn. And for young jockeys, it's something you really don't always see. See how much patience he has later on today. I think he will.
Honor the Hero, 6-year-old son of Hero's Honor and trained by Doug Oliver, Alan Burdeck, and A&R Hewlin, the owners. Congratulations to them as we're waiting to make it official here for the Churchill Downs, the 6th race on the card. And there it is, official. Honor the Hero, returning $9. Thank you very much. Memo, 3 and 260. Saratoga Gambler at 320. There's your 5-2 exacta, 1820. The winning time, 123, 7 furlongs over this sloppy racetrack here at Churchill Downs. And there's another. That is a gentleman in a lady's hat, I think. Oh, no, she's going to take it back now. Okay, yeah, all right. Put your hat on. Leslie, don't share your hat with anybody. Let's go to Leslie.
Only if you need it, Chris. Well, I'm here with a man who knows his way around the diamond and the track, P. Rose. Pete, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. We're having fun. I come with the governor, so we missed the first 2 races, and we leave after the big race, so we'll miss the last 2 races. But it's fun up on 6. There's a lot of celebrities up there and a lot of old friends, and it's a shame the weather had a not cooperate, I guess. But there's not too many horses going to the front and winning today.
Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on baseball this year. Is it strange to pick up the paper and see a Central Division?
Yes, it is, but I think it's good for baseball because I think it's going to create more interest for more fans for a longer period of time, because there's a lot of teams that got off to bad starts in April and the first part of May, and they're not eliminated because of the wild card situation. And it works for football, and it would work for basketball if they did it. And you know, I'm not a purist. I'm not opposed to AstroTurf or the more divisions. Anything for the fans is better. The better's the game, I'll vote for.
Everyone's been wondering all year, why are there so many home runs? Is it a mysterious strike zone?
Well, if you look at the replays on ESPN, which I do every night, most all the home runs are high balls. I like Tabasco Cat, too. And, you know...
There are only about 10 left, but we'll name them.
Well, I mean, for an exacta. You have to have an exacta when you play the Derby, but Brocco looks awful strong to me because he'll be landing right in that second pack, maybe fifth or sixth, and let the speed burn out.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Pete. I'm going to follow this guy to the window, Chris.
You could do a lot worse, Leslie. Pete Rose, pretty good handicap and a real fan of this sport. Rain, I think, letting up just a bit here. Didn't seem to bother. Honor the hero. He's the hero of the Churchill Downs Handicap.
Derby, the Grade 2 Ohio Derby, and the Grade 1 Super Derby spotlight the nation's best 3-year-olds. To share the excitement, call the DeBartolo Racing Facility nearest you.
A little more than 2 hours away from a thoroughbred, a 3-year-old, going into that famed winner's circle at Churchill Downs and into racing history here. As we welcome you back to our Kentucky Derby special here on ESPN. The rain has let up just a little bit now. Still very heavy gray skies overhead, though. As we get ready for, well, of course, the Derby favorite is Holy Bull at 3-1, but we know you're looking for more value than that. So, my gosh, Tom Durkin has it for you in our Derby Budweiser long shot.
Our Run for the Roses Budweiser long shot is Southern Rhythm. And run he can from out of the clouds. And win he can 4 of 5 times this year. But everyone can hit a sour note now and then, as Southern Rhythm did in the Jim Beam when he was wide throughout. So we'll skip that beat. It was this tune he played in the Lexington Stakes that makes him our long shot play today. Coming from far back, he bumped with Soul of the Matter on the turn. Then, in a powerful display, rocketed by horses and went on to soundly defeat Soul of the Matter, the same Soul of the Matter that beat Brocco. And here, Southern Rhythm is looking very much like a horse that will love to run 1.25 miles. By the numbers, his dosage is good, his figs are good, and most of all, the number on the odds board looks good, as the Derby Budweiser long shot.
Tom Durkin has a smile because those numbers on the odds board show Southern Rhythm at 17-1. We scoffed at Tom when he mentioned that, but he liked Sea Hero last year. Well, it was 20 years ago today that they ran the Centennial Kentucky Derby. It's worth another look at our classic clip. The 100th Kentucky Derby in 1974 featured the largest field in the history of the race. There were 23 3-year-olds thundering past the stands for the first time, scrambling for position before reaching the first turn. Cannonade was one of those shuffled back early. But by the time the swarm turned for home, jockey Angel Cordero had Cannonade on the lead.
They're into the stretch, and Cannonade is your leader as they move through the stretch. Cannonade opening the lead out 3 lengths. Hudson County holding on in second. Destroyer and J.R. Spells on the rails. Agitated moved into third. Coming to the wire, it's still Cannonade.
The Woody Stevens train Cannonade was assured an additional place in Derby history when the maximum number of starters was limited to 20 shortly after that 1974 Run for the Roses. The great Kentucky Derby and memories of Woody Stevens and Angel Cordero. How fun there with Cannonade. Look at this group, will you? Well, we're thinking of horse racing. This group's thinking of football season. They must know Jimmy Johnson, Marty Schottenheimer in the crowd. Maybe doing some scouting. Maybe not.
come share the feeling.
It ought to be nuts to be out in this weather. Tom Durkin, I think he qualifies. Wow. Tom, I don't know about that. It's raining, and how is it up on the roof?
I just come back from the roof where it was raining. I don't want to say it's raining hard, but it certainly is. Let's go down to Virginia, where it's a little bit of a drizzle as well. And the Virginia Gold Cup, $40,000. It's the world's richest timber race, and they'll be starting from a tape.
4 miles over 23 timber fences. We'll take a look at the conditions for those steeplechasers 5 years old and up over the timber course. And Tom Durkin will look at the field now of 10 for the Virginia Gold Cup.
Big Estero, owned by Jack Kent Cooke of Washington Redskins fame. Lots of talk. Who was at one time Timber Chaser of the Year. Gus's boy, he's one of the favorites, although there is no betting down there, at least legal betting. Navy Pilot, number 5 Chaser is a British import. And then Joe's OK, who won this race a couple years ago, which is Magic Fire Sale Saluter. He'll also be one of the favorites here. And the likely pacemaker will be No Tresca Decaphobia.
Will O'Keefe will be calling the Virginia Gold Cup for us. You'll hear commentary also from Joe Gillette and Kim Goodwin there. They're approaching the tape. They're almost ready for a start. The 69th Virginia Gold Cup from Old Tavern, Virginia.
Here, and I don't know if it does any good, but at least it makes the rider feel a little better about running over those fences.
It appears that we are just about ready for the start. The flag is up, and we are shortly to join Will O'Keefe for the race call of the 69th running of the Virginia Gold Cup. A field of 9 are heading up to the post. Who do you like, Joe?
Well, I have to think Saluter. Jack Fisher's done such a great job with all his horses this spring. Saluter is really the one I would have to pick.
Away they go.
And they're off.
69th running of the Virginia Gold Cup. Out in the middle, of course, Joe's OK with Gus's boy. Lots of talk. Big Estero on the inside and Fire Sale from the extreme outside. Joe's OK, Fire Sale, and Gus's boy neck and neck over the first of 23 fences. Fire Sale goes to the lead under Michelle Rouse as they come towards the second fence. Joe's OK is about 2 lengths back, running in second place. Gus's boy another length and a half back in third. Fire Sale, Joe's OK, Gus's boy, Witch's Magic between horses. No Trisca Decaphobia on the outside, running in 5th place and going easily. Imp Chaser right alongside. Lots of talk. Saluter from the outside, and Big Estero completes the field. Fire Sale setting the pace. Joe's OK pressing in from second place, goes to the inside to save ground around the turn. Fire Sale still with a slight advantage. Joe's OK there also. Witch's Magic from the outside. Imp Chaser, Gus's boy in 3rd place. Fire Sale with about a length and a quarter advantage over Joe's OK. Gus's boy another 2 lengths back, running in 3rd place. Witch's Magic, Imp Chaser.
In the Virginia Gold Cup, number 8, Fire Sale. He's easy to spot. The gray gelding in the lead, and the field at this point, Joe, is very tightly bunched. What have you seen?
They are. It's interesting. You watch Michelle Rouse. She's a very good amateur rider. She's on the front on Fire Sale, having a difficult time holding him. And you watch the cagey old Johnny Bosley on Joe's OK right there on the inside. Actually, Victoria Schlesinger's moved up there, but you'll see the professionals hugging the inside rail. And that's a factor because a length saved in the middle of the race is a length at the finish.
Back to Will O'Keefe with the call.
As they come towards the 5th fence, Fire Sale, but here comes Gus's boy to challenge from the inside. No Trisca Decaphobia on the outside, running in 3rd place with Joe's OK matching strides down the backside of the course. Lots of talk now, advancing on the outside from Michael Trorig, moves into 5th place with Witch's Magic on the inside. Imp Chaser, Saluter, and Big Estero. First of 3 times to go around. Fire Sale has led almost every step of the way. Gus's boy runs in 2nd place at the 6th fence. Fire Sale, Gus's boy, Joe's OK. Lots of talk, runs in 4th place. No Trisca Decaphobia running in 5th, only about 5 lengths off the lead. Witch's Magic, Imp Chaser, Big Estero, and Saluter completes the field. They gallop now around the turn and towards the 7th fence. Fire Sale and Michelle.
It looks like Fire Sale at one point might have lost the lead, but he is determined to keep himself in front, although several horses in prime stalking position at this point, including Joe's OK just off the leader.
Well, as you see there, all the jockeys are doing their best to get their horse to settle right now. That's the most important thing. And you'll see they're all tucking in, folding over, trying to get each of their horses to relax and breathe rhythmically, because in a 4 4-mile race, that's the thing that can make the difference. If you can have your horse settled, you've got a good chance of having something left at the end.
Everyone appears to still be jumping well at this point.
They certainly do, and Michelle is not going to give up that lead. That's a nice horse. He's relaxed on the front end. Look at his ears pricked. Michelle's doing a great job of settling him up there, and he's having it all his own way, and that's what he'll need to do to win this Virginia Gold Cup.
Back to Will O'Keefe with the call.
Going well for Michael Trorig. Witch's Magic bobbled a bit for Chucky Lawrence, but he's still aboard and galloping towards the next fence. Fire Sale with the lead. Lots of talk running in second place. Joe's okay in third place, but about 7 lengths behind the leaders. They're at the 10th fence. Fire Sale and Lots of Talk dueling on the front end. Fire Sale having a slight advantage, a very slight advantage as they go around the turn. Joe's okay making up some ground on the inside in third. No Triska Decaphobia and Brian Moran close up running in fourth place with Witch's Magic. Gus's Boy.
Fire Sale started to drift out there a little bit prior to going into the turn. Michelle Rouse got him tucked back in, but it looks like she's going to have a problem holding off Lots of Talk, who is eager for the lead.
Well, Kim, I tell you, this is really going to mess up Fire Sale's strategy and Michelle Rouse. You see, Lots of Talk here is a very, very fine horse. A former champion timber horse is really bearing down on him, and that's going to make him quicken a little earlier than he'd like to, and it's going to be hard for him to last with that horse breathing down his neck. But Michelle's doing a great job of trying to get away from him so she can slow the race down again, if possible.
She wants to give Fire Sale another breather, so she'll have plenty of gas left in the tank for the finish. Back to Will O'Keefe.
5 lengths. Lots of Talk running in second place. Joe's okay is another 8 lengths back running in third. Gus's Boy making up ground for Victoria Schlesinger on the inside, challenging for third place. Witch's Magic drops back into fifth with Imp Chaser. Saluter now moving up on the outside and making up some ground on the leaders. Still anybody's horse race as it's about 15 lengths front to back in this field of 9. Fire Sale with the advantage. Lots of Talk runs in second. They're at the next. Fire Sale over with the lead, has about a 3 to 4 length advantage over Lots of Talk and Gus's Boy. Imp Chaser between horses. Big Estero has made a big move on the inside and now races in 5th place.
Joe, at this point, it almost seems to be, well, now they're closing up, but it almost seemed to be 2 races at once. The early leaders, but now it looks like the closers are really starting to kick in. What's the strategy at this point?
Kim, you're right. This is one of the most exciting Gold Cups I've ever seen. You've got so many good horses. That's Victoria Schlesinger on the near side in the gray color. She's moved up with Gus's Boy. He doesn't have a lot of speed, and she wants to be right there toward the end now. They've got about a half a turn, a full short turn to go, and she doesn't want any of those speed demons to be out pressing her. So I'd say Victoria's in as good a position as any, and here comes Jack Kent Cook's horse up on the inside. This is going to be a sensational Gold Cup.
Back to Will O'Keefe.
With the slight advantage. Gus's Boy runs in second place. Lots of Talk. Another 2 lengths back running in third. They come towards another 4-foot fence. They've got about 1.25 miles yet to go. Gus's Boy and Victoria Schlesinger with the lead. Fire Sale going well there for Michelle Rouse. Lots of Talk is another 2 lengths back running in third place. Now a bit more than a mile to go, and Saluter has rallied from last, and he's moved into 5th place. 1 mile remains there at the 17th of 23 fences. Gus's Boy, Lots of Talk, Fire Sale, Saluter on the extreme outside. Lengths apart on the front end. Big Estero on the inside with Joe's okay there also. Last time to go around, 7/8 of a mile from home, and Gus's Boy has the lead.
Joe, I can't recall at any point in history that the race has been this close at this point in the race. Several horses still have a chance to get there.
Well, you've got 3 Timber Horse of the Years, former Timber Horses of the Year in the first 4, and here comes Saluter up on the outside. This is going to be a sensation. And Michelle has set a burning pace for the race, but I don't think she's going to be able to stay with him now. Her horse looks, although actually does seem to rally, but Victoria Schlesinger is going best of all here on the inside with Lots of Talk. Jack Fisher having a terrific go back in third on Saluter. Michelle still not out of it on Fire Sale. Joe's okay there. This is going to be a terrific Gold Cup.
They all cleared the water jump, and this is where it gets serious, so we better go back to Will O'Keefe.
But Joe's okay, Imp Chaser and Big Estero. Still anybody's horse race at the 20th fence. 3 more remain. Gus's Boy has a slight lead. Joe's okay, Lots of Talk. Here comes Saluter from the outside to race neck and neck towards the next fence.
Saluter with a slight advantage. Joe's okay regains the lead at the fence. Saluter running in second place with Gus's Boy right alongside. Joe's okay and John Bosley now showing the way. Saluter runs in second place. Gus's Boy is another 2.5 lengths back, running in third with Fire Sale in fourth, and Lots of Talk dropping back in fifth. Now only a couple more fences remain, and they've got a little bit more than a quarter of a mile to go. Joe's okay trying to hold off Saluter. It's Joe's okay on the inside. Saluter and Jack Fisher battling on the outside. They come towards the final fence. These two are neck and neck. Saluter with a slight advantage. Joe's okay running in second place. Fire Sale there in third. They come towards the last. Saluter with the lead. He's over the last. Jack Fisher and Saluter now drawing away in the stretch, romping home to victory here in the 69th running of the Gold Cup. This is a golden year for Jack Fisher. Jack Fisher and Saluter, easy winners of the Virginia Gold Cup. Fire Sale and Joe's okay dueling for second place. Too close to call. Gus's Boy is fourth.
Thank you, Will O'Keefe, calling the 69th Virginia Gold Cup. In the rain there in Gold Cavern, Virginia. Sellout crowd of more than 50,000 returned to Churchill Downs now. Tom Durkin, your comments on the long race, more than 4 miles, and really some of the great timber horses there dueling at the end.
Well, they call the Kentucky Derby a test of stamina. That's like a quarter horse race compared to that 4-mile race over 23 fences. And Saluter is a youngster. In steeplechasing terms. He's only 5 years old, and as a result, carried 5 pounds less than the other horses in the race. And that adds up when you're going that far.
What a performance by Saluter. He takes the historic Virginia Gold Cup, and we'll take a look at him driving on the outside to win the Gold Cup after 4 miles. An impressive performance here. Hope you enjoyed our coverage of the Virginia Gold Cup presented by BMW.
September sold BNBN at Santa Anita. November sold Devil Is Due at Gulfstream. July sold Lakeway with multiple West Coast victories. And April sales graduate Smilin' Singin' Sam, recent winner of the Remington Park Derby. Sold at Keeneland, winning across America.
Horse racing on Florida's Gold Coast. The summer place to be is Calder Racecourse in Miami, Florida. With a $100,000 race for every division, Calder offers millions of dollars in stakes purses alone. The June Jam, 3 sprint stakes, each worth $100,000. The $1.5 million Grand Slam Stakes program, and the Festival of the Sun, the richest day in Florida racing. For information, contact Robert Humphrey at 1-800-333-3227.
Among the successful young stallions standing at Lane's End is Ali Sheba, the 1989 Horse of the Year and winner of 9 Grade 1 races, including the Kentucky Derby and the Breeders' Cup Classic. With just 2 crops to race, Ali Sheba has sired a number of talented stakes horses, including Ali Wow, a Grade 1 winner in Canada, and Bright Moon, a Group 2 winner in Europe. Ali Sheba, outstanding racehorse and stallion at Lane's End, Versailles, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky on the day they run the Kentucky Derby. We're thinking of roses in a horse race. Tomorrow on ESPN, we want you to join us from Hamburg, Germany for the finals of the Panasonic German Open. Those 2 young players there have been rivals for a long time, had the same coach, in fact. Take a look at those folks there in the paddock as they're getting ready for our race before the Derby, the Capital Holding Mile. But before we get to that, let's give you the official results now from the 69th Virginia Gold Cup. And it was Saluter winning the 4-mile Virginia Gold Cup for Mrs. Henry Stern. He's trained and ridden by Jack Fisher, just had a victory in the Maryland Hunt Cup as well. Joe's okay, a former winner of this race, had the place spot, and Fire Sale is third. Lots of personalities, lots of celebrities here, of course, at Kentucky Derby time. We had a chance earlier to visit with a very special person to racing. Brian McGrath, the new commissioner of the Thoroughbred Racing Associations. Welcome to ESPN in Churchill Downs.
Thanks very much, Chris. Pleasure to be here with you.
Give us some of your background, Brian.
Chris, I come out of an entertainment and sports marketing background. I worked for a number of years with Columbia Pictures, and then most recently as CEO of a sports marketing company over in Lucerne, Switzerland, that's closely affiliated with the Olympics and with the World Cup.
Now you're the commissioner, the top job, but I understand you started a little closer to the bottom, parking cars at Aqueduct Racetrack in New York.
That's pretty accurate. I actually started putting in water pipe underneath what's now the Meadowlands, and then I got a promotion to parking cars over at Aqueduct.
I know you're excited about a new concept here, the National Best 7 bet for people across the nation.
Oh, we got a bet that's going to be terrific for our present fans, as well as will attract some new fans. The Best 7 is going to be on every Saturday, bring in 7 races from across the country, the best races that day, and it'll be available on a simulcast basis to be bet on at all of the racetracks and other betting locations. We've done a couple interesting things. We've added an interesting carryover aspect, as well as a 50-cent increment, which I think will bring in some new fans.
Finally, your impressions of your first Kentucky Derby.
This is the greatest sporting event anyone could hope to be at. I think I had to take the job to get a ticket. I mean, judging from this crowd, it is excited, it's diverse, it's represented by so many people. In the entertainment business, as you know, we got Burt Bacharach, we got Brooke Shields here, Lou Holtz came up on the elevator with me, governors, senators, we got them all, and this is a place that's going to bubble today.
The horses have arrived in the paddock. We're getting ready for the race before the Derby. That is the Capitol Holding Mile on the turf. And they're celebrating in the infield here. Louisville Band performing here on the Majorette. We'll be right back. Live from high above on the Fuji Film Blend. You're looking at a shot of Churchill Downs on ESPN's Kentucky Derby Special. Thrifty car rental racing across America. Welcoming you here to Louisville, Kentucky, where we are a few minutes away still from our final race before the Derby, the Capitol Holding Mile. For that, though, let's make things official in Virginia. There is the presentation going on. The governor of this great state of Virginia, Governor Allen, and Jim Ryan of BMW North America, making the presentations to the connections of Saluter, the winner of the Virginia Gold Cup. By the way, Fire Sale needs a note here. Michelle Rouse, the rider, rode with a broken collarbone and got the show spot after over 4 miles of riding. What a performance. Let's take a look now at the conditions for the race before the Derby, as it's known. The Capitol Holding Mile, $75,000. We go to the Matt Wynn Turf Course here, 1 mile on the grass. Fillies and mares, 3 and up. And getting ready now to join our friend Bob Newmeyer.
Well, Chris, an old friend here at the Kentucky Derby. He's been helped sponsor this race for the last couple of years. It's always good to talk to Irv Bailey, Capitol Holding. Why the involvement?
Well, it's great to be back. We're involved because we're part of the community, and this is a time when the eyes of the world are on Louisville, Kentucky, and it's great to be sponsoring a race and supporting Churchill Downs.
Seems every year I ask you for a pick, and every year this race comes up tough. It has again today. We have 9 fillies going a mile on the grass, and the bettors have, they don't know what's going. 7-2 is the favorite. How about a selection?
It's a wild race. It's really a wide open race. I like Shebang. Shebang was 3rd in the Jenny Wiley, and she does not have a lot of experience on the track, but her recent trials have been good, and I think she's the horse.
Okay, thanks, Irv.
Good to see you.
All right, Irv Bailey. Let's take a look at the field now for the Capitol Holding Mile, and this is a wide open event. Russian Bride, saddled by Leroy Jolly at 9-2, was certainly one of the favorites here. Miss High Blade, Chris McCarron at 14-1. The Irish bred Weekend Madness is up at 7. Suspect Terrain, interesting name for a grass horse, number 4. Topsa, always a hard hitter in the grass, 7-2 with Jerry Bailey. Pete Rose talked about baseball. Well, appropriately enough, Miss Pitch, number 6 with Mike Smith. Tiny Toast has been scratched. Irv Bailey's selection, Shebang, is number 8. Great thrill for young trainer Kathy Hamilton, her first stakes horse with Secret Mirage in Pat Day, number 9. And from the left coast and Santa Anita, Gary Jones sends in Miss Turkana. And this is a wide open event. We'll be back to offer some thoughts on this race. But right now, let's go back to Chris.
All right, thank you, Bob. You saw maybe a sneak preview of Millionaire's Row. Leslie trying to get some early airtime there with a friend of hers who also owns a racehorse with her and is the absolute king of Kentucky.
That is true, Chris. The 2 biggest things in Kentucky are thoroughbred racing and basketball, and this man loves them both. Rick Pitino, how are you doing today? You have a friend in this race.
Yes, I do. Miss Pitch, Billy Mott, and Joe Ira Kane own the horse, and I have a good friend that thinks it's going to win, which means it's not going to win.
No, for us. Rick, the question on everyone's mind is, why did you turn down the Los Angeles Lakers?
Leslie, to be honest with you, I did not turn down the Los Angeles Lakers. Speculation and rumors about, but I'm going to stay at Kentucky a long time, and I honestly feel, from the bottom of my heart, I will retire as the Kentucky basketball coach, or they may retire me.
You've said, I think you've been quoted saying that Kentucky is the best job. Why would it be better than an Indiana, Carolina, or a Duke?
Well, I think they're all comparable, certainly, but because I'm here, and I'm the Kentucky coach, you always like to think you represent the best in your own mind. Mike Krzyzewski thinks Duke is the best, and Dean Smith, Carolina. But they're all great, and it's something that you're very proud of, and I'm certainly proud to be the Kentucky coach.
Well, you love racing, and I think last year, about 3 minutes before the windows closed, I think I heard you say "See Hero."
No question. Well documented, so I can't have two in a row, but I'm going to go with the Italian horse, Bracco.
What a surprise. Back to you, Chris.
All right, good luck to Coach Rick Pacino. What a fan and what a friend of thoroughbred racing. Well, you see the field, the Capitol Holding Mile, as they make their turn around the ring here in the paddock, and we are 13 minutes from post time. We're up in our airship, the Fuji Film Blimp, and there are our captains. Look at that good-looking mustache. That's John McHugh, and Dominic Mayer is right alongside. Hold her steady, gentlemen. It's not easy on a day like this. The wind has really picked up, and it's gotten much colder at Churchill Downs, but it has, at least for the moment, it seems, stopped raining. That's the good news. Well, let's go right back to Millionaires Row and back to Leslie Visser.
Chris, I'd like to tell you about a story that is not a typical Derby story. As many of you know, Jeff Lucas 5 months ago was in a terrible accident when Tabasco Cat got loose on the backside at Santa Anita. He suffered a tremendous brain injury. He was in a coma for a month. He was in the hospital for 3 months. And a couple of days ago, I asked Wayne Lucas to put these past 5 months into perspective.
Well, I think the bottom line is with relating to Jeff's injury. I think that it changed me in one way. You don't take every day for granted. I mean, you don't get up and expect Jeff to be there to have a cup of coffee with you in the morning and then go on to work. And we won together, we lost together, we shared the good and the bad. And you just took that for granted. He would always be there. And then one morning he's not there, and you don't know if he's ever going to be there again. And it changes you a little bit. I also realized how much he meant to us, how much he meant to me personally as a companion and friend. It wasn't like a father-son relationship where we called on Thanksgiving, said, you're going to come over and have Thanksgiving dinner, and I'd see you at Christmas. We were together constantly. And his input in our operation and what the load he took off of me, both mentally and physically, in doing the actual daily work was enormous.
Wayne, who gave Jeff much of the credit for training Kentucky Derby winner winning colors, saw his life change in an instant right before his eyes.
Well, I actually saw the horse loose, and Jeff stepped off his saddle horse and moved over, and I saw the horse running, and I don't think Jeff was going to try to stop him. He was just out there trying to slow him down, and it was a situation where they both veered the same way to get out of each other's way and had a complete perfect collision, and it flipped him. It would be like you'd see in the highlight films of the NFL. It flipped him in the air, and he come down on his head.
When you would go to see him when he was in the coma, would you talk to him?
I don't know, it was comforting to bounce all the things that I normally did off him, and we'd have conversations like I would say, well, I think I'll work Tabasco Cat 6 furlongs tomorrow and about 112, that ought to tighten him up, and then I'd pause and I'd say, I think that's right, that's what we'll do. Like he was answering me.
What would it mean to you to win the Derby?
Well, this one's going to be a little bit special if we win it because of this situation we're just talking about. I don't know if it's in the cards. I don't know what's out there for us. We got a good horse. We're very, very well tuned for the race. Things look like they're falling into place.
Can you just finally say, what are the moments on Derby Day that will be most poignant for you? When will you most be thinking of Jeff?
Well, I think during the saddling and walking over, bringing the horse over, that was a march we made together. We always came together with the horse. And bringing him over is a very proud moment. When they walk on the racetrack, whether you have this story behind it or if you're just in the Derby, it's very touching when they strike up my old Kentucky home. And of course, winning it, I don't know just where we'll go for that, but it'll be special.
Through a strong family and a will to rehabilitate, Jeff has made remarkable progress. He expects to be back at the barn in September and back to work by the Breeders' Cup. Well, yesterday, our Mike Milburn talked to Jeff and Linda Lucas in Southern California.
Jeff, first of all, it's great to have you back. I know you feel the same way.
Well, it's nice to be back home and spend the evenings here at home from the rehabilitation center. And Linda's had to adjust her schedule, and I've, of course, had to adjust mine in getting better over the injuries. But we're trying to go through the motions and go through the rehabilitation in a proper manner to get back to work and put everything back to normal where it was.
Linda, I have to believe not only your family, but Jeff's family, they've both been a tremendous source of strength to you throughout all of this.
Yeah, a lot of family and friends.
I mean, are just great support. And just nurses have helped, and doctors, and all the rehab people. You know, they all help you a lot.
Jeff, I would have to think maybe you more than anyone else has known for a long, long time how incredibly strong D. Wayne Lucas is, but did you ever really realize he was quite this strong?
Well, it'll be a good showing because I have had some missing time with the injuries, and I'm working at getting back to where I was. And the process has come through. The horse is training well. My dad's back at Kentucky with him, and let's hope the horse has a good showing and runs well in the race Saturday and through on the Triple Crown. And my dad will have been with him, and it'll be excellent for everybody. The speed factor of this race will be a key for not only that horse, but others, and ours included. You know, it's a 1.25 mile race. There are a deal of horses that have a lot of speed and front-running ability. So if they're going to go 1.25 miles, they're going to have to make an adjustment and run in a very smart manner, and that includes Tabasco Cat. You know, he at some point is going to have to relax and be able to finish to get to 1.25 miles, and that's what we're hoping. Well, it's been a job to get over this, but it's all come well, and progress has been made, and it's taken some time, but it's getting better, and hopefully in not too much of the future, we'll be back to normal and back to work.
Wayne told me that he spoke with Jeff this morning. They talked about the conditions of the race. They talked about the track, a little bit about the strategy. Wayne said he finished by telling Jeff that he loved him and that it would not be the same walking a horse over to the Kentucky Derby without him. Chris?
I think that's the best shot I've seen in this show. Jeff Lucas. By the way, Linda told us also they'll be here at Churchill Downs. They'll be here this fall when they run the Breeders' Cup. Jeff, Linda, we're counting on it. Before the Derby, the Capital Holding Mile, presented by Hollywood Park, where great times are a sure bet. Oh, the wind is picked up. The temperature has had to drop 10, 15, maybe 20 degrees here in the last hour. The rain has stopped right now, but it is a miserable Derby day here on this first Saturday in May. Let's bring you now our odds update for the Capital Holding Mile, presented by Auto Tote. Here's the field. Russian Bride, Leroy Jolly Trains at 9-2. Miss Highblade at 14. Weekend Madness at 8. Suspect Terrain at 20. Topsa at 7-2 now, getting lots of support, and the race favorite. Miss Pitch is 9-2. We scratched the 7 Tiny Toasters out of this field. Shebang at 9. Secret Mirage at 9. And Miss Turkana at 3. Ronnie Lamarck, I think you may have heard Ernst earlier referred to as made the scratch of Kendally, and they said it was Ronnie Lamarck, one of the co-owners there with Roz Cole, along with Bob Newmeyer, talked to our friend Ronnie Lamarck, and he did say that he made the decision to scratch Kendally. Let's hear what he had to say.
Ronnie Lamarck is with us from New Orleans, the owner of Kendally, a late scratch here in the Kentucky Derby. What can you tell us?
Louis and I were talking via telephone from the Bourne area. And
Louis Russell, correct, the trainer?
That's correct. And Louis and I were talking, and I said, Louis, what do you think? He says, Ronnie, you know, I think the racing surface is not proper for our horse. I think that he could get hurt, and if that, because of those conditions, I don't want to run this horse. He's going to be a very good 3-year-old later on in the career of the Preakness in Belmont. We're looking forward to doing that. The mystique is there. Could we or couldn't we have done it? Look, I'm all dressed up and know where to go, and I tell you what, I'm very upset, very heartbroken, but it had to happen. I'm sorry it happened.
And I know you wanted to run him, but you deferred to your trainer. But I have to ask you, a number of people told me this week that this horse was not training well, was not eating well, and was not prepared for this race today.
Well, that's hearsay. I'm telling you, I was with this horse. He looks fantastic. He is eating well. He's training well. He's dappled all over. He's got a great personality. He worked a minute the other day, finished the last eighth of a mile in 11 and change. So, no, this horse is doing well. You'll hear about us in the Preakness, and you definitely hear about us in the Belmont.
A disappointed Ronnie Lamarck with the scratched Kendally. Of course, these are the same connections that saddled Risen Star to a smashing victory in the Belmont a few years ago, and Lamarck said that that's where they're pointing, either the Preakness in Baltimore or at the Belmont Stakes in New York. They're loading for the Capital Holding Mile. This is a wide-open affair. Fillies and mares on the grass. We have speed horses. We have closers. You're in for a real treat. To call this race, let's go back to Tom Durkin.
And much of that speed coming from the outside post positions as Secret Mirage takes her spot. And to her outside will be Miss Turkana. Miss Turkana is a tepid favorite here at 5-2. Ready for the start, and they are off. Suspect Terrain bobbled, leaving the start. Here comes Shebang and also Secret Mirage. Secret Mirage is up to take a short early lead. Shebang is right there. Russian Bride toward the inside as Mr. Kenna now begins to flash some speed. She moves into 4th position as they move into the far turn. Weekend Madness is behind horses, running in 5th position. Tops it to her outside is 6th. Miss Highblade hugs the hedge and saves ground in 7th. Suspect Terrain after that upward beginning is 2nd to last, and Miss pitches the trailer as Secret Mirage goes out winging and opens up here 24 seconds flat over the yielding going for that first quarter, and she's loving it. She's out there by 6. And Shebang is running in 2nd. Mr. Kenna being nudged along now, running in 3rd position. In a distant 3rd she is. Toward the inside, Weekend Madness runs in 4th. Russian Bride alongside her in 5th. 2 lengths to Miss Highblade, and following closely out to her outside is Topsa. At the back of the pack are Suspect Terrain and Miss Pitch the trailer as the field moves into the far turn. And Secret Mirage still leading loose on the lead. She's been there the whole way, but the others beginning to whittle away at that lead. Shebang is running in 2nd. Weekend Madness now coming through an opening toward the inside. Mr. Canna still has 4 lengths to make up. Russian Bride is beginning to hit her best stride. She'll need some running room now as the field turns for home. And Weekend Madness comes charging through on the hedge to take the lead at the top of the stretch here. She's leading now by 2, leaving Secret Mirage behind in 2nd. On the outside, Shebang is now running in 3rd. Russian Bride is 4th toward the inside, and the others are well behind. They're all chasing Weekend Madness home, and she leads by 4. There's a good fight for 2nd, but not for 1st today. Weekend Madness wins it. A 3-way photo for 2nd. Russian Bride on the inside in a photo with a late closing Suspect Terrain. Weekend Madness, Charlie Woods hugging the hedge as the field turned for home with a decisive and emphatic move to victory.
An impressive performance by Weekend Madness, a former winner at the Fairgrounds Racetrack in New Orleans, winning by a neck, but really off form of late running at Gulfstream Park. In his last stake, the Swanee was 10th by 10.5. What a big comeback here. New Phoenix Stables Weekend Madness, the 4-year-old filly by Dance of Life. Let's take another look with Bob Newmeyer.
This is what we call a perfect trip for Charles Woods Jr. He was riding on the inside of the front runner, Secret Mirage, who gave way under Pat Day, and you can see this Irish-bred filly explode to the lead, and under the urging right-handed stick of Charles Woods, draws off to win by 3 lengths. There's a tight photo for 2nd between Russian Bride and, as Tom pointed out, the late-charging Suspect Terrain, but the winner is Weekend Madness. The time 1:38.2. Back to Chris.
Nice job of conditioning by Burke Kessinger, the trainer. Charlie Wood, you see the rider coming back on our winner of the Capital Holding Mile. One of our traditions here for our Kentucky Derby special on ESPN every year is to give you an analysis of how the Kentucky Derby will be run. For that, let's go to our race caller, Tom Durkin.
The Kentucky Derby is constructed like any good drama, with a beginning, a middle, an end, and an epilogue. The drama begins with a fast-paced opening. Perhaps it's the jockey's adrenaline, or 100,000 roaring from the stands, or that long straight run. Whatever, it's much faster early than most 10-furlong races. Faster than 23 seconds flat may be too fast for the front-running types. Any one of these could set the early pace, but it will most likely be Ulysses on a kamikaze mission. For all front-runners concerned, the slower the first quarter, the better. The middle section of the race frequently doesn't advance the plot that much. In fact, movement may be in the wrong direction for tiring horses like Ulysses. Here, for the just-off-the-pace types, it's important to get position within striking range of the lead by the time they hit the far turn. If the Derby pace is mild, 47 seconds flat or slower, it's an advantage to those that can stay in close striking range. However, the opposite applies. Too fast and too close means too bad for these. Year in and year out, the climax of the plot takes place on the far turn and nearing the top of the stretch. For the closers, who have been idling in the back of the pack, this is where and when they need to be in high gear, in the fast lane, and most importantly, avoiding heavy traffic. Many a derby has been lost by closers caught in the traffic jam on the far turn. These are closers, not stretch runners. Starting to move in the stretch is starting too late. The far turn is the climax. From the half-mile pole to the 8th pole is where you win the Derby, no matter what your style. Front runner Winning Colors won it on the far turn by putting daylight between her and her rivals. A just off the pace type like Sunday Silence won it by keeping within striking range and attacking at just the right time. And closers like Sea Hero won it, moving powerfully past weakening foes on the turn and avoiding trouble. The Derby winner is almost always in front by mid-stretch, with the victory achieved by the time they reach the 8th pole. And the epilogue of the drama is played out in a virtual victory parade through the last furlong.
There it is, how the race will be run. It's 5:30 Eastern Time, 8th race here at the Kentucky Derby. Let's give you an update on the odds now here. As you see, the open line and then the current odds changes there. Holy Bull 8-5 now up to 3-1, but still the favorite for the 120th Kentucky Derby. Go for Gin has really dropped now at 8-1. Tabasco Cat also getting support. Bronco is up to 5, and the field horses are at 11-1. Tom, your Derby thought and your pick.
A lot of people betting with their hearts with Tabasco Cat, but I'm going to go for a long shot, the Bud Long Shot, Southern Rhythm.
Bob Newmeyer, your thought.
Good value in this race on both Valiant Nature and Go for Gin. I'm going to take the former, Valiant Nature, at 13-1 with Lafitte Pinkai Jr. to steal the run for the Roses this afternoon. Chris?
All right, Bob, and for me, well, Strode's Creek, I think. I love a story horse. I said earlier, Arthur Hancock loves almonds. He remembers Strode's Creek going through his stone farm. Said he was sitting out there watching one day, and some big bird came down to Strode's Creek and grabbed a fish. Well, the big bird turned out to be a bald eagle, as in trainer Charlie Whittingham. He liked that almond. Charlie Whittingham likes it as well, and they both like Eddie Delahousie to come back. He won this race back-to-back in the 80s. Now he's come back again with Strode's Creek. Let's make our race before the Derby official for you now. The Capital Holding Mile. Weekend Madness wins it. Russian Bride was second. Suspect Terrain third. The 3-1 exacta nicely. $135.40. We've had so much fun in these 2 hours. We're going to come back and do some more for you. And, of course, Tuesday's our Racehorse Digest recap, Kentucky Derby recap, harness, quarter horse racing highlights, all for you on ESPN Tuesday at 3:30. And then we're back here with a wrap-up show live at 6 o'clock Eastern. Be sure to join us then. Hope we've gotten you ready for your Run for the Roses at your Derby party wherever you're watching. The 1994 Kentucky Derby Special from Churchill Downs has been brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. By the DeBartolo Corporation, leading the way to the 21st century. And by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you, friends know when to say when.